This place has a lot of history. It was built in the 1890s and owned by Park of Park Davis Pharmaceuticals in the early 1900s. Mrs. Park was known as the local Lady Winchester because she kept adding on to the building. They didn't have any children of their own, but they adopted 2 daughters who they raised here. It was a family compound, quite large, with 4 buildings on 2.5 city blocks and had 59 rooms. The house became the main house of the Parks. It originally was just a summer home for them, but they liked it so much here that they made their main home here. They were from Michigan and they didn't return to Michigan very often. I purchased the house in 1972. My family grew up in this house, and in 1984, when they were all off in college, we did a major restoration and turned it into the Martine Inn. Today, the Martine Inn is a 24-room bed and breakfast. We serve breakfast every morning. We serve wine and hors d'oeuvres in the evening, and their snacks in the afternoon. And there's a lot of common area and a lot of view rooms. There's game rooms and a car display and all kinds of things to do in addition to just the rooms in the inn. We're directly across from the ocean, and the parlor looks right down on the water, about 60 feet above sea level and about 120 feet away from the water. The outside now is a Mediterranean style, but the rest of the building is basically Victorian. This house is all redwood. The timbers, support timbers, the walls, the outside siding that was on it, and then in the 1923 they plastered over the redwood on the outside. The building structure is all original. 95% of the walls are in the locations that they were before. Most of the windows are original in the building. Most of the glass with the rippled glass, the old glass, is still in the buildings. Most of the trim is still original, although we did have to make some to replace that had been damaged or had been taken. And then all of the furnishings that are in the house, all of the light fixtures that are in the house, they're all antiques. They're not reproductions. They're the kind of thing that could have been in this house, that we believe would have been in this house had the Parks lived here. It's interesting, this settee that I'm sitting on now, I have a very similar settee in a picture that shows Mrs. Park and the 2 daughters sitting on a settee like this one. The parlor is, again, a very bright room. We're very fortunate that the Parks did the kind of remodeling that they did, because they kept expanding the windows and putting more and more windows in. And typically in Victorian homes, you have a lot of small windows. In this home, you have huge windows. And in effect, the front of the building and along the side of the front of the building is all windows. You only have enough posts to hold up the second and once third floors that were above it. And so you're able to sit there and look at the water, and you can see on most days all the way across the bay and to the mountains beyond Watsonville, which is 50 miles away.